Round 5 of the 2022 Indy Elite Series takes us to Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, one of the American Great Road Courses in Lexington, Ohio. Welcome aboard and welcome to SimTV. My name's Kyle Heyer, joined by Finney and DeCuna for our second road course of the season. And after 3 rounds of oval racing and 1 round of road racing a couple of weeks ago, Finney, and it's time to go back on the road courses again, this time at the 2.2-mile, 13-turn course in Ohio. Glad to be with you again. This will be a fun one. A short race, only 49 laps.
Yeah, it's going to be very much a sprint for these guys out there from the drop of the green flag to the end. No cautions really unless we get a big wreck on the opening lap, which we don't quite anticipate. So I expect things to go relatively swimmingly through the opening few corners. But it's definitely going to be chaotic, especially because passing is going to come out of premium at this track. Not a whole lot of places to get it done. So drivers are going to be very aggressive when the opportunity arrives.
Lexington, Ohio, population 5,000. This track constructed back in 1962, only a couple years after tracks like Road America and Watkins Glen. This track surface notoriously slick, especially in the rain. Cloudy skies today, but we don't have a chance of rain on the forecast, at least not yet. Not this month, maybe next in iRacing as we trudge towards the March build here on the service. Qualifying is underway right now, 10 minutes on the board. A couple drivers back that we should take note of, but a 24-car field for this one, Finian, and 2 tire compounds to choose from. You've got that primary black sidewall tire and then the alternate red sidewall tire to choose from tonight. You'll have to use both at some point throughout the race.
Yeah, absolutely. And notably, Aaron Roof's the only driver he's actually out there qualifying on the black wall tires. Everyone else on the reds, because these guys are not limited to tire that's at their qualifying lap. They can choose whichever tire they want to start the race. So it's surprised he's not there on the reds like everyone else, but everyone else are out there putting their first hot laps in. And at the moment, Jacob Oster at the top of the standings, but we're definitely all waiting for a time from Adriano Pinheiro, winner at Road America a few weeks ago.
Yeah, so Pinheiro again with that win at Road America solidifies himself potentially as a favorite here at Mid-Ohio, but have yet to see him climb on the charts. Of course, so far, I think he was a little bit late to join the session and get into some practice.
He was pretty late. He was around, I think, 7th place on the practice time sheets with only a few laps in. Across the line for qualifying, though, where is he up? Was that lap not clean? Lap was not clean.
No, that was only his warm-up lap there, so this is the start of his timed flyer. Andreas Ike goes to the top of the board, a 107.108. Andreas Ike now gets bumped by Brian Carey, who goes a little bit quicker, and that number is 79, 107.108 for him. Ike only ran a 107.211. Robert Malechka, current points leader, lost a couple of those points last time out, but still maintains a 47-point lead over Andreas Ike, who qualified second. This is a crucial one, though. Remember back at Road America, it was the strategy that mired Malechka back outside of the podium. So I think today it's a bit of a different strategy than they had last time. I think paying attention to the fuel economy is very, very important tonight.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think for Malechka, again, it's a matter of not losing on these opportunities, because he's got a solid points lead to work with. You don't want to throw it all away, and of course, he's still battling some stiff competition. It seems like he's dominating the championship, but one little mistake can set him back quite a ways. Again, we talked about consistency from Andreas Ike, and he's been up there. He hasn't been probably getting the wins, the flashy stuff up near the front, but he's been getting some solid finishes, and so Malechka just has to make sure he doesn't blunder on the strategy tonight. Otherwise, he'll find himself back in the midfield really easily. But so far, so good. Qualifying, let's see, up near the top of the standings, gonna be not near the top, 20th at the moment.
Malechka jumps up to 6th.
Oh, 6th
across the line.
I already think it's showing it weird.
So Malechka will put himself inside the top 10. Brian Carey still sits on provisional pole for the time being. Andrew Wood in the number 64 is on his qualifying lap. The fantasy picks that were popular this week, Pinheiro, no surprise, and Van de Sant are the popular fantasy picks. Van de Sant right now in 4th in that number 97 car. Julian Altena is back, so is Pablo Diaz in the number 22, and think about the success that he has had. Think about last time out at Motegi, where he got his first win of the season, and tonight might be a little bit more challenging.
Yeah, as you just saw right there, going up and over the hills of the car, balance shifting up and down between the cresting over the hill, and just lost grip of the car around he went. You got to be very careful in that middle sector, so easy to lose control.
There is a look at Chris Cahill in the number 57, the Diet Coke car. Right now, rolling around just outside of the top 20. Hasn't yet put down a lap at his intense racing, number 57. Out of Yorktown, Indiana, Malechka improves to 4th place as we watch the 57 complete his second lap. We'll see if he can jump up inside the top 10. Alexis Newsom goes 10th fastest. And Cahill across the line, a 108.636, good enough for 11th place.
Yeah, we'll see if he can improve. Should be able to get another lap or two in. Amount of time remaining in qualifying. Andrew Wood up in 8th place as he puts down a solid time. But bit sideways out of turn 1, and it's going to call it a run, at least for that lap.
Pablo Diaz, again out of Spain, won his first race in the Indy Elite Series last week at Motegi, and taking to a different challenge this time around in the road race here at Mid-Ohio.
See, we'll try to see where he ends up the only guy not to qualify at the moment.
Across the line for Pablo Diaz, where does he line up? A 1:19.040, had an issue on the opening lap. He'll get a chance for one more. Still 3 minutes on the board, and almost everybody has taken a time. Diaz is the last one not to have a lap time in the books, at least not one that will put him up in position. Whoa, wide at the keyhole. This is definitely a struggle for that 22.
Yeah, and I believe he may have enough time to have one more run. If he gets back to the line in time, you need at least, what is that? Well, at least a minute into minute 8, minute 9 seconds to get a full lap in.
Yeah, pretty conservative run into China Beach over at turn 4. And down into first gear. So definitely taking a conservative run at this here. He's got enough time to potentially do another lap. Joe Branch jumps Marshall Stanley. That's for 10th, so put the 28 up to P10.
To the final sector he will go. Very difficult set of corners to end the lap.
The 119
Blinding right-hander.
Yeah, 119.040 was not a clean lap, so that will not count. He's going to have to do better than that across the line. This time a 111.151. That lap is legal, but still a couple seconds off the pace. And pushing a little harder on this final lap. This will be his last run here, Finian.
Yeah, you got to make sure. I was just going to say, wanted to make sure he didn't run wide in the keyhole the first time. And as he did the first time, and he just went straight off his keyhole this time.
Man, that was a pretty vicious impact there into turn 1. But again, really excited for this race. I love Mid-Ohio, and remember a couple seasons ago, the drag race to the line that we had side by side out of that final corner. It's going to be a lot of fun tonight. This race will go by very, very quickly. And which is a good thing tonight because I'm excited to get back to watching the Clash at the Coliseum. What a battle that has been, and an exciting new thing for NASCAR. Love it or hate it, it certainly is probably the most watched Clash in many years. And while I enjoy my road racing and my Indy cars, I'm excited to see the end of that as well.
Yeah, it's surprisingly entertaining and not the way we thought. I think both of us thought it was probably going to be a wreck fest, but actually some really solid racing, some bumping, some running, which you definitely expect with some typical stock car racing. But for the most part, fairly clean. People have been taking each other out. Haven't been really taking each other out, although I feel like that's probably going to change in the last half of the race.
Yeah, again, we'll see what happens after. But first up, the 5th round of the 2022 season for the Indy Elite Series here on Sim TV. Drivers to watch tonight in the points. I think we have to keep our eyes squarely on Robert Malechka as the points leader, leads by 47. Chris Stouffer rides in 3rd in the points, and Stouffer is down in 16th, so a lot for him to lose. Alexis Newsom, a top 5 last week, in her number 63. She's going to roll off in 12th. She did very, very well, gained 8 spots last week in the points, so keep an eye on her, as well as Adriano Pinheiro, again, winner at Road America and perhaps the favorite coming into tonight. With not a lot of knowledge yet on who this season is going to perform well at the road races, I don't think we have a good sample size quite yet of that.
Yeah, and I think it's still a bit up in the air, although definitely looks like Brian Carey obviously taking pole here. Definitely very consistently good at the road courses. Last time out at Road America, ended up finishing 2nd after starting 5th. So definitely some quick pace in that 79 machine.
The car's gridding up here on the run down to the last couple of corners just prior to the keyhole. This doesn't leave you a lot of opportunity to change tires, or to warm up your tires, I should say. But have a look at the tire selections as drivers join the grid here. So everyone that's joined the grid so far is on the alternate tire. Craig Forsythe in the number 27, he has chosen the primary. Alex Ball has chosen the primary. Why is this important, Finian? Because that red alternate tire is going to be a lot grippier than the primary, but it's going to have a lot shorter life. So how you plan your stints tonight is going to drastically affect when you take that alternate tire, but it seems like the majority of the top 10 or the top 15 are going to start on the red sidewall tire for that extra grip at the beginning when you can use it the most.
Yeah, absolutely. So and still seeing more and more guys, the front of the field deciding with the red tires, everyone else towards the back, and even the only two on the primary tires are Julian Altena and Alexander Ball. Everyone else on red alternates.
Let's have a look at our starting lineup here tonight. On row number 1, it's going to be Brian Carey with a 107.108, a wicked fast lap time. He'll start alongside Andreas Eich in the number 76, Finian.
Jacob Oster lined up in row number 2 in the 09 next to Robert Mleczka, our points leader in 4th.
In row number 3, Alexander Van de Sant, a favorite in the fantasy this week. Jason Brophy rolls off 6th in the number 88.
Adriano Pinheiro joining notably the only driver in the top 15 on the the black wall tires. Last time winner at Road America 3 can do in 8th, Andrew Wood.
In 9th, David Adams in the 00. He'll start alongside Joe Branch in the number 28 in 10th.
In 11th, Marshall Stanley, and in 12th, Alexis Newsom, Chris Kao in 13th, and Craig Forsyth in 14th.
In 15th, row 8, Charles Ante, Christopher, then followed by AJ Musselman, Wayne Hunter, Julian Altena, and John Downing, followed by Alex Ball, Tony Schowen, Aaron Roofs, and Pablo Diaz wrapping up the rest of the field. Time to go racing here from Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, round 5 of the 2022 season for the Indy Elite Series. We're green, we're racing at Mid-Ohio. Andreas Eich out to a great start, drag racing to turn 1 alongside Brian Carey. He will lead the field into the first corner.
Yeah, got to be very careful here. Everyone getting single filed out. Now's a good time you get a run, try to make a dive up the inside, heading into the keyhole for the first time.
Whoa, really dicey stuff there. A couple cars side by side behind Pinheiro. A little bit wide through the keyhole.
Oh.
Alexander Van de Sant is side by side with Brophy. There was some scuffling in the background, Finian.
Yeah, and Carey was side by side with Andreas Eich. A few of them also hitting push-to-patches to get away from one another near the front of the field. Jacob Oster trying to make a move on Mleczka, who's been able to gain one position up into P3 for the 91 car.
Well, Brophy got checked out a little bit wide from a battle with Alexander Van de Sant. They've tidied it up now, and they run through madness. That's the crest over the hill at turn 5. Eich leads the way and pulls away very quickly. Robert Mleczka up to 3rd, and nice and clean so far. Everybody keeping it tidy on this opening lap here at Mid-Ohio. Big slide by the Pinheiro car, the 56. He got all sorts of sideways, and Wood's going to take advantage. Dives up the inside.
Yeah, he's able to get the position there for 7th place. See how long he can keep it as we come around to the final few corners to complete lap number 1.
76 leads the way. Carey, Mleczka, Oster, Van de Sant, the rest of the top 5. Elsewhere throughout the field. Nice and orderly so far. And into the keyhole.
Whoa, I think it's the Pinheiro. Spin to the wall, off of turn 1, out of the race.
Oh, right in traffic, and he gets clobbered. More contact. Wow, several cars involved. It's a big crash on the straightaway between turns 1 and 2. That is a nasty accident, and here's what happened.
And it seems like no caution from that.
Oh, spins.
And plastic clipping the grass on the outside wall. Like, came across track, and he's under no control at this point.
Oh, was that John Downing? It was, who seemed to get the worst of that.
And Jason Brophy, I believe, were the not Jason Brophy, the yellow car.
Didn't get a good look.
AJ Musselman.
Did Musselman get away with that? He might have been able to kind of net code through that a bit.
I'm not sure if he got wheel damage or just wing damage. He's definitely struggling, though, with the wing damage.
Man, big crash there, and those are a couple drivers will be out of the race, certainly. But lap 2, that is our Road America winner out on skittish cold tires in the early going. It's going to cost him and Downing big time.
Musselman actually deciding to stay out on the track with the damage to his wing. Bit surprised at that. Charles Ante coming in, he also had wing damage. I'm not sure if that was from the same incident or not.
Yeah, I didn't see him get directly involved, but it could have been from a variety of things there.
Oh, he did get it. I think he might have hit a cone. Oh, yeah, hit some cones.
So again, now the top 11 all on the alternate tire. Only a couple on the primary, and they're mostly towards the rear half of the field. Up and through turn 5, Andreas Eich has a 1-second lead. Brian Carey now fending off Mleczka, points leader. Again, he's held the points lead since his season-opening win at Michigan and follow-up at Iowa.
Yeah, it's a matter, though, getting past the 79 of Brian Carey up the road. You mentioned Gary having some pretty solid pace. Started on pole, though Eich The man up in front just trying to break away. Knows he's got a points lead. Or sorry, knows he's got the lead of the race to gain on our points leader who's 2 positions back.
AJ Musselman limping with that damage that we see on that 54.
Yeah, I am genuinely surprised that he's going on. I'm pretty sure he's aware. Well, he definitely wouldn't know that he's got wing damage from the way he's driving. So I'm a bit surprised he didn't elect to come down pit road, because you're going to lose a lot of time. This is a high downforce track, and you're going to need that extra half of the wing to get around here, because he's definitely struggling.
Yeah, the damage is definitely going to hurt him. Here comes Wayne Hunter to the inside. Hunter's had a troubled season so far, a couple of accidents as we got a battle for 6th place. Andrew Wood goes by Brophy into turn 4.
Yeah, a solid pass done. We'll see if he can keep it up ahead. Wood up 2 spots, starting back in 8th, up in the 6th place currently.
Pablo Diaz started at the rear of the field. It wasn't a great qualifying effort, but he has found his rhythm. And right up to the tailpipes of AJ Musselman. Whoa. And big bobble. Got the car too low in the speed range there, just spun the tires, getting it spun back up. Alexis Newsom slow out of Thunder Valley, and that lets Marshall Stanley drive on by.
Here's what happened to her. I think she just went for a little bit of a slide.
Here's a look.
Yeah, coming right through here. A lot of weight on the left side of the car as you crest the hill.
Woo. Nice catch.
Great. Yeah, I was going to say, great job saving it.
That's a crash for a lot of people, I think. 5 laps in, some dramas that took out Pinheiro and Downing. They're both out of the race early. Pablo Diaz now with that bobble has Aaron Roofs right behind. That's the 26, the purple car, and Alexander Ball, the blue and yellow, all battling for 18th place. It's a pretty hot commodity right now, any positions on the racetrack.
Yeah, they're all kind of stacked up here because they're in behind AJ Musselman. Aaron Roofs in behind, or sorry, in behind him. Alexander Ball looked like he was trying to get a run to make a move, couldn't quite get it done.
Into China Beach and then into Madness again. You come over this crest, and then this is where the car gets really light, and you got to make sure that you're applying throttle very gently. Like you got to egg under the pedal just so that you're not going to crack that egg. So battles continue back here. Up in front, still Ike by 1.5 seconds. Greg Forsythe in the 27 running Newsom down. This would be a battle for 11th when it begins.
So far, not a moment. A big battle looking to be brewing up for 2nd place. Brian Carey Maleshka and now Jacob Oster joining the fray. So a 3-car battle for 2nd place. Ike just barely up the road. There you can see him right there in frame. So very close battle for the lead. No one's really pushing at the moment. Still got a lot of racing left.
There's Jacob Oster in the 09. Started in 30s, dropped a spot, but seems to have pace quicker than all the leaders last time by, a 108.572. But Alexander Van de Sant right behind him is also a little bit quicker than the leaders and even quicker than Oster. So this should be interesting if Van de Sant can close the gap a little bit. Also note that Van de Sant was one of the top choices in fantasy. So was Pinheiro, who is going to disappoint a lot of those fantasy pickers this week, that's for sure.
I mean, I'm not surprised that people picked him. I mean, the guy who won the one road course race we had this season, might as well pick him. But unfortunately, as we saw early on lap number 2, off to the grass he went and out of the race.
Chris Cahill squaring up the final corner to get set up for a pass on Forsythe. This is all behind Newsom for 11th place.
Yeah, very tricky set of corners to navigate when you're in behind someone. You lose so much of that grip. The aerodynamic grip being tucked in behind someone, but you got to make do with what you have and try to one-up your opponent as he's closing in.
Here's Pablo Diaz losing a spot to Alex Ball. 12 car will move through, and Alexander Ball's had a slow start to the night. Started 21st.
Oh, there's actually some more history to Pablo Diaz, what happened to him, why he lost position. He got went sideways in the penultimate corner and got some contact with Aaron Roos.
Yeah, there's just the end of that contact that we just caught there, and then watch Roos as he goes down to turn 1. Some dramas here. I think he's going to catch some grass on exit, perhaps. Big understeer, gets in the grass.
Yeah, he's actually got some damage to the left side. You can see to the left, his left wing on the front, and you can see it crinkled in and elevated above the ground. So I think that's why he went off the track. Because, you know, when you have the car working fine, you have that expectation of how much grip you have, and I think he didn't realize that he got some damage from contact with Diaz, and definitely is going to start filling it.
Roofs has some work to do, and we'll have to get that rear wing fixed or replaced at the earliest opportunity for a pit window. Malechka and Oster continue to run very close, 3rd and 4th at the moment. And fuel stint about 20 to 22 laps, so we should have to pit twice. And that gives you an opportunity to do two stints on the blacks and 2 stints on the reds. Depends on what route you go. I think all the drivers up front will. Yep.
Chris Cahill on the button, trying to make a pass up the inside. He goes to Craig Forsyth down in China Beach, turn number 4. And now going to be on the outside, trying to get that car to rotate over the hill. Looks like he got the pass done.
Aaron Roofs on pit lane repairing that front wing as we go back to that battle with Forsyth and Cahill. Saw Forsyth's brake rotors glowing. He's been working those brakes really, really hard, and you don't see that a ton, I feel like, on the road courses. These cars generally, you're braking for fairly short distances, but tonight, that entry to turn 4 really stressing the brakes on Forsyth's car at least. Now up to 3rd place, Malechka feeling some pressure from Oster.
Yeah, he's been feeling pressure from the entire run, and then also the pressure of trying to catch up to Carey. Vandersens effectively entered the battle with these 3, so all very close here for these top few positions. Ike slowly stretching his lead out. Last time we were checking on the leaders, it was about 1.4 seconds. Now it's about 1.8, 1.9 seconds, the gap.
So stringing out now just a little bit, getting into the rhythm of the race. Andreas Ike has been very, very good so far, and last time by gained a whole bunch on Brian Carey, about half a second. And when you lead by this much, you kind of put yourself in a position where as long as you just have clean pit stops, you're pretty much in the clear. Just don't make mistakes and don't spend a whole lot of time in pit lane, and you're good to go. So Ike is in a great position right now leading this race. Started up front and staying up front so far.
Yeah, I'm curious to see who's going to be the first of this top group to come down a pit road, because really when you come off on a pit lane, that's going to be big. These guys seem to have some pace. Maybe they're held up by Carey, if anything, at the moment. So if Malechka, Oster, Vandersens decides to tuck on down a pit lane, they can get some clean air, potentially some clean air to work with, depending on where you got shot out in traffic.
AJ Musselman still has not come to pit lane to fix that front wing. And just,
I guess I admire his determination. I just feel like he's losing a lot of time with that. His lap times are about a second off of everyone else around him. That really adds up over the course of a run.
Yeah, I mean, you have to. I mean, Aaron Roofs came to pit lane. He's a lap down now with that front wing replaced. Here goes Alex Ball sailing up the inside in the keyhole. So I guess Musselman just thinks he's going to lose less time doing this. And to his credit, he is dropping, but he is dropping slowly. So maybe it's worth hanging on and maybe losing 15 seconds versus the lap that you would lose coming to pit lane to fix it.
Yeah, I guess he's just waiting for that first pit stop. Well, he's waiting for the pit window to open, and then he'll come on down. So he can't wait to get a fresh wing on that car.
Brian Carey losing a little bit of ground to the 2 or 3 drivers behind him. Malechka and Oster have begun to close in on the 79. Look at this drop through the keyhole. This corner is really tricky because you're understeering through most of it as Craig Forsyth hits pit lane. This seems like an early stop here, Finian, but this could be on strategy, because if you can go 20 to 22 laps, another 20 laps would put you at lap number 30 or so, and then another pit stop would get you all the way to the end. So maybe just an early stop. AJ Musselman's going to come in now as soon as he can.
And a switch onto the red tires for Forsyth. A bit surprising. I thought he would have been stretching that out. Because typically on the the black tires, you want to kind of stretch out the run as long as possible because that is the more durable tire. But I guess Forsyth decided now is the time to change it. Maybe looking and seeing his competitors on the reds aren't really struggling that much.
Musselman stays on the red tire, so he will have to do the black at the next pit stop. Jacob Oster hits pit lane. This is an early stop for the 09 as well, I would think, but maybe some drivers, again, losing performance in that red sidewall tire.
This is what I was talking about, doing an undercut of one of the leaders, just get some clean air, see what he can do with that, and off to his pit stall he will go. Which tire really picked? No one really knows except for him, I guess.
We do now. We know what tire he's going to choose. It's the black tire. He will return to the racetrack And he has the option now of choosing either the red or the black, and I think you would choose the red, but perhaps you'll do a double black stint, Finian. If you're going to set yourself up for 20-lap runs, maybe that red tire isn't the choice again. So maybe you do 2 black stints and 1 red, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like he's stuck in behind Christopher, and he's not trying to use push to pass to get around the number 13 car, so that's going to impede his progress a little bit.
Alexis Newsom and Chris Cahill, this is for 10th.
Trying to hold Cahill up in behind. And easy section of track to do so, not when you lock up the tires like that. If you actually really go off, you can actually gain time somehow doing that.
Yeah, you're also fighting something at this track more than you probably did at Road America, and that's Aero push, that Aero understeer that you get by following the lead car in front. You're not going to have as much downforce on your wings and aero components as you would if you were all in clean air, not behind somebody. This isn't really a huge issue, I feel, at Road America, because the corners are just slower and you're really limited by mechanical grip more than Aero at that point.
Yeah, I mean, Road America is a lot more low to mid downforce corners. At Mid Ohio, it's a lot more mid to high downforce corners. So as you mentioned, yeah, it's going to be a lot more aero wash at play. But Oster getting around Christopher, and he's got a little bit of clean track to work with. Up ahead to Chris Cahill.
Pablo Diaz is off course and entering pit lane.
Yeah, not a great run for Diaz, who won last week of Tiki.
Yeah, just carried a lot of speed into the key, or the carousel, I should say. Got it in the fence.
He did a great job at least trying to make sure he hit the wall straight on. Oh, he's actually stopped on the side of the road. He's in pit lane. It's the last box on the pit road because he started dead last. It looked like a weird angle.
And yeah, so he's going to put the black tires on. He'll have to repair that front wing, but he should be good to go from here on out.
Yeah, he might have some more damage probably than we're not getting it repaired in his pit stall, but Andreas Ike just about 2-second lead from Brian Carey. Carey not switching on the afterburners just yet.
Yeah, he might have to, though. He's got Malechka breathing down his neck. Leaves him just, at danger of an undercut here.
Yeah, Van de Sand's also caught up too.
So a 3-horse race for second place. And the 91 had speed at Road America. Again, it came down to that strategy call that kind of put him in a tough spot. He lost some ground there. But the speed was not a problem, and it doesn't look to be again here today. I don't think he's quite as fast as the race leader, but as I say that, he is actually running a hair quicker at this stage in the race. He's just got to get by Brian Carey before he can really eat into that lead.
Yeah, so he's also early takers down on pit lane. After that complete silence, the majority of the field, around 15 cars, still yet to make their first stop of the race.
Andreas Ike getting into some lap traffic. That's Charles Ante in the number 86 out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania for Team Talent.
Yeah, I'm sure. Ante actually came in early. He came in early after he got wing damage to his car. So that's kind of why he's been so far back. He's going to have to come in a few more times, unfortunately.
Teammates here, so it shouldn't really pose a huge threat to Ike in his lead. But I am definitely watching Van de Sande. He is coming alive here late in the stint, even on lap 15 on these tires. So perhaps there's something to the Reds lasting long enough to use him over a 20-lap run. He is closing in on Malechka. He's been able to save more rubber than the front three. He was the fastest by 2/10 last time by.
That makes sense because he was in some clean air in behind trying to chase these guys up. And I guess, as you mentioned, just hasn't been as aggressive with these guys trying to fight and jive for position, dealing with the aero wash as well, putting more load. And you see Jacob Oster, he's in the middle of some traffic. Chris Cahill, Newsom up ahead of him.
Yep, Oster has come to pit lane. Cahill and Newsom have not. Newsom will jump on the binders, and she'll lose 2 spots. Cahill has not yet hit pit lane. Oster has. Oster was running top 5 before he came down to pit road, so would expect him to cycle out around there.
Yeah, I feel like those undercuts not really working for him, dealing with some slower cars that he was up ahead against. It's really slowing him down. As you mentioned, passing, not the easiest thing around Mid-Ohio, so you're going to have to wait pretty much for an entire lap and maybe wait for an opportunity to come up like in the keyhole or toward 4.
This is a good opportunity to look at the relative lap time performance of the black versus the red tire. Although Oster was higher up the order to begin with, almost knocked the cone over at corner exit, this does give us a pretty decent look at the performance of the red versus the black, and it does seem like the black, at least at this stage of the race, is a better tire. So maybe 15 to 16 laps. If you're going head-to-head with somebody, I'm not sure what tire you'd pick for the last 20-lap run.
The one advantage I will say that Oster has compared to Carey, Malechka, and Van der Sande, that when they come out, he's going to have fresh tires with car off. Also,
Roos.
That is Roos. Yes, he's struggling off in China Beach. So one thing that Oster does have is that the tires will be nice and warmed up, because these black tires take an extra lap or two compared to the red counterparts to get warmed up and up to operating temperature when you have the optimum amount of grip. As we see Van der Sande down on pit lane, I imagine a switch to the black tires for him.
I would expect that. Yeah, I don't think you're going to want to put yourself where you got to run the black tire on the last stint. I think AJ Musselman is on that. No, he's taking the reds. That's a really interesting choice, I think.
I guess feels confident in it.
Yeah, I would have thought the preferred strategy would be red, black, red, but it seems like some teams are going red, red, black, and some are black, red, red, and black, black, red. There's so many different ways to skin the cat here. That's why I love this tire strategy.
Oh, and Van der Sande struggling with some understeer off in keyhole. Doesn't go off the track. Goes a little bit wide. Loses some time.
Have a look at that.
Yeah, and again, cold tires coming just out of pit lane when you're so used to how the tires are operating. Go just a little bit wide there.
Got into the marbles just a little bit. That'll certainly hurt your cornering performance at a corner where you're not really relying on any aero downforce that you have. You're completely relying on the grip of the Firestone tires, and at this stage in the run, you don't have much of it because they're still cold.
Yeah, not sure we mentioned the weather at the top of the show. 94 degrees on the track, 80 degrees in the air, so warmish track, not the hottest thing in the world.
Yeah, 94 is not incredibly hot, but it's hot enough to make it punishing if you start sliding around. David Adams is on pit lane in the 00. And as is, it looks like, is that Wayne Hunter. Nope, who was that just came off pit lane?
I have no clue. That is Tony Schauenden on your paint scheme, so you don't recognize that.
Tony Schauenden. I have not talked about Tony Schauenden yet today. Farm Rescue on the side of that car.
Very quiet day for the number 31 machine. Beautiful record.
Yeah, it looks good. Started 22nd, and it's not exactly moving forward at a fervent pace, but this power slide car has not gone backwards. That's a good statement to make at this point in the race. Letting Van der Sande on by. Getting the blue flag there. Oh, he's off course. Oh. And there's the bad luck finally reaching.
Commentator's curse.
Yep. Almost rolled the car over, jumping back on track. Put a lot of weight on the right sides. Chris Cahill is off course as well, following Jacob Oster.
Yeah, the guys really starting to struggle now. Sun's come out a little bit. We had some... definitely the sun coming out. We had quite a bit of shade. Sun's out. Now it's up to 97 on the track. So the track's heating up very quickly. Yeah,
really, really hot track. From, if it gets hot from when it was cold like it is right now, it's going to start making things very slick. Here's Brian Carey and Malechka. This is the battle for second. Neither of these drivers have made a pit stop yet this race.
And neither, I'm surprised Malechka not opting to use any push pass. Very easy for him to use it, get on by, and try to scamper off away from Brian Carey and try to chase down his main competitor, Andreas Ike, up the road. But he's going to elect to stay behind Carey. I guess because Ike's not really checking out. I guess he feels confident he can just kind of stick him behind the 79 car.
Lexus Newsom running Cahill back down. Julian Alton is back there as well. 71 car so far today. Started in 19th, up to 12th. Good run so far, but has not made his first pit stop. See the brakes glowing on the nose of his car as well. So people are leaning pretty heavily on the brakes into the two major braking zones into turn 2 and turn 4. And Malechka on pit lane.
It's going to be big to see where does he come out in this. Van der Sande approaching the penultimate corner right now.
A couple of drivers pitting in front, Marshall Stanley and Joe Branch. And Malechka dropping off the jacks. He's going to get released, and Van der Sande goes on by.
Yeah, with a pretty decent lead, too. So that worked very well for Van der Sande. Not so much for Oster. Oster, though, approaching him behind. But again, we've seen that he elected to go on the black tires. I imagine we're going to see him switch to the reds as soon as possible. And, looking at the... okay, never mind.
Julian Alton on pit lane, putting the red tires on. And drops off the jack. Almost stalls the car pulling away. Wayne Hunter also in the box. Big slide for Van de Sant, still trying to get these tires in, but he just ran his fastest lap of the race, a 108.372. The only car on the racetrack that has been faster than that at any point in this race is the race leader, Andreas Ike, who hits pit lane from the race lead.
Yeah, I think for Ike, he may have stayed up maybe a little bit too long. I think he'll slot in behind Van de Sant. Not sure where he's going to be in relation to Malechka, though.
Tires going on. And Andreas Ike going to stay on the reds. Ike releases.
There's Van de Sant coming in frame there. Actually, that was a really good pit stop. Oh, no, he spins!
Oh, right in front of Van de Sant. He goes evasive. Ike spins out of the pit lane. The race leader in trouble.
Oh, that's not what he needed at all. He did get a little bit lucky. I was worried when he was running over the cones that he would damage his wing, but that is absolutely not what he needed.
Oh, cold tires catch out the race leader and manages to get away without any damage, but that's going to be a painful one to have to recover from. Track position is challenging.
Critically fell in behind that man right there, Robert Malechka. Brian Carey also fighting for a position between these two, so Malechka going to work his way finally past the 79.
Yeah, got by Brian Carey, puts him up to third. So Alexander Van de Sant had to take evasive maneuvers. That car looks okay, didn't smash the floor on anything. But that will put Andreas Ike behind Malechka and Carey, and now we'll get to see his true speed and if he can overcome massive track position loss he just had. Here's Alexis Newsom and Chris Stouffer. Both these cars have pitted. The only driver who has not hit pit lane, Andrew Wood and Alexander Ball, 1st and 12th. Stouffer through into 13th place as Andrew Wood hits pit lane and releases.
Yeah, final driver, one of the final drivers we were waiting on. Actually, Alexander Ball is actually the only driver to get to pit, although I imagine will pit this lap.
Yeah, going to have to. I think
Oster, yeah, Jacob Oster working around Andrew Wood. So everyone pretty much where they were, more or less, coming out, except for we saw Andreas Ike, who would have probably been the leader if not in 2nd place, fighting with Alexander Van de Sant after that spin.
Track temp over 100 degrees now, but the clouds have come back over the speedway, so we'll see if that cools things off a little bit. But that could be part of why Ike had such trouble getting out of pit lane. Higher track temp and no temperature in the tires. That doesn't really make for a good combination. You know, a not grippy tire and a not grippy track all at once.
Yeah, we're going to see what Ike's going to do. I mean, he definitely had the speed earlier on, just not the track position to work with. He's trying to chase out Carey. Carey's struggling out of Thunder Valley a little bit as you watch Joe Branch defending the guy behind him.
Chris Cahoe on pit lane, puts the black tires on and escapes. Watching Marshall Stanley, though, he's definitely quicker than Joe Branch at the moment.
Yeah, working through Thunder Valley. It's so difficult through that section crossing the hill because you're constantly checking your mirrors. You're going to just maybe hit the gas a little bit more as you're trying to just wait on getting on the throttle, and you can easily spin out. Drivers seems today have been pretty careful through that section.
So I think Branch is on black tires, so that might be why he's struggling with overall grip here just a bit in comparison to Stanley, who's on the alternate. Out of the first corner now. So Van de Sant leads the way. The quickest car on the track last time by was Robert Malechka, whose gap up to the leader is now 2.1 seconds.
Yeah, he's definitely all the leaders are slowly catching up to Van de Sant. It's a matter of time before we start to see some battles duking out for the lead.
Stanley conservative on the brakes there, but then closes in as they get to the corner. I think this is all but inevitable for Joe Branch to lose this position. But he's defending very, very well. He's getting a solid run out of the keyhole, which is leaving him invulnerable into madness. How long will that stick for?
Here's see where he's going to make his move. Looking at Marshall Stanley, he's been pretty heavy on the button. Only 4 push passes left. Everyone else is around 7 or 8 or 9 uses, so definitely been aggressive.
It's interesting how the tire strategy seems to be inverse from the push-to-pass strategy. You're using up your tires early and your push-to-pass later, kind of balancing out your advantages. Kind of using one half of the race, you're using mechanical grip. The other half of the race, you're using the extra power. And not a lot of people relying on both in one half of the race or the other. Makes sense.
Stanley just trying to use the slipstream to try to catch up. Unfortunately, it's just not enough for him.
Yeah, he's losing a little bit of ground on the straightaways. Might be a bit more downforce in that number 5. Seems to close in the tighter sections where Branch gives up some time. A lot of marbles forming offline as well, so that can be very slick if you get out of the racing groove. Marshall out of Los Angeles, California for Vortex Sim Racing.
The gap for the lead getting very, very close. 109.2 for Van de Sande last time through for Malechka. As you see a dive up the inside for Andrew Wood on Oster.
Puts Wood into 5th place. Oster back to 6th. And you mentioned that lead battle. It is closing very quickly.
Yeah, definitely starting to close into second and a half now separating Van de Sande and Malechka. Malechka went 108.8 last time by, difference of about almost 4 to 5 tenths of a second between our leaders. So Malechka closing in.
There's your leader, Van de Sande. Robert Malechka is 2nd, then Brian Carey, Andreas Eich, all on top of each other within about 3 seconds. So this is going to start to accordion,
They're all in the same straightaway. 3 seconds separating the top 4. It's a very close race in the front.
This is very, very fierce at the moment. Just about 25 laps to go this time through, and that means that got to kick things up here just a little bit. Got another pit stop impending in about 5 laps if you're an early taker, and that will take you all the way to the end of the race. We'll see how many drivers elect to come down early, put the blacks on, and kind of extend their range.
Yeah, that's the thing. Pretty much everyone's going to have to go on the black tire. Oster, though, is the first driver who's going to be able to actually switch back to the red. Everyone's going to have to go blacks before their final run.
Yeah, he's 9 seconds back, almost 10 seconds back from the race leader, though. I don't think it's going to be enough to get him up to the lead, but it could be enough to close up the gap.
You say that, but these tires can be really slow, and I think that's why we're seeing people opt to do double on the reds instead of going double on the blacks, because the tires are just too slow.
Interesting. So we'll see, and they seem to be lasting enough. Oh, Branch pushes out wide, gets in the marbles. Marshall Stanley closes the gap again, but just doesn't have enough of a run to get all the way to him.
Oh, I saw him on the button, finally deciding to use the push to pass. Joe Branch not using it in defense, so that's going to allow Stanley to get up the inside.
Oh.
Be a deep dive. Does he slow it down in time? He does.
Wow. That was a really deep dive on the brakes. Got it stopped and takes over 9th place from Joe Branch. Less than a second between the 2 race leaders now, Van de Sande and Robert Malechka.
And Malechka is getting past the lap car that is Wayne Hunter in the 82.
And Andreas Eich is still quick, but he's trapped behind Brian Carey. Needs an opportunity to get past the 79.
Opportunities right using push to pass in the number 76 machine, as well as some slipstream. We'll see what Carey's going to do.
Oh, defensive!
On the road. Very late move there. Eich not able to get by.
Carey overdrove. No, he did actually held on pretty well there. I thought he was going to overdrive, but he got it slowed down. And Eich's push to pass, you could consider that one wasted. That's what is so frustrating as a driver sometimes, is you use that push to pass almost as an expectation that I'm going to get around. Now that he throws the defense and you're not able to get there as Carey slips and slides.
Yeah, he's sliding. He slipped pretty much to those 2 corners, almost went off the track, was able to keep it back on. But Carey did a great job there, making his car as wide as humanly possible to keep Eich in behind. Fighting that push to pass by yourself is pretty much almost worthless. So he did some great defensive maneuvers to keep the 76 behind. You see Eich's going to try again out of the keyhole.
Yeah, most importantly, he did not block. He made a defensive maneuver, picked one line and stuck with it. That was an important thing to distinguish. Van de Sande's lead is under a second. Malechka's 1 back. Carey and Eich right there with him. Now Eich is not quite as close.
A very poor run on the keyhole for him. Definitely nowhere close.
Yeah, not on the button at all. Is Carey or Malechka on the button? Nobody. They're being pretty conservative when you're not right next to it. You really just want to use that when you're close enough to make a pass, Vinny. You're not really just going to use that on your own necessarily. But some drivers might do that if they've got no other way to use it. You might as well just get rid of it while you still have it.
Well, in the next lap or two, pit window is going to be open. You can make it to the end, and one driver I'm definitely looking at making that pit stop is Dick Oster. Behind. That was perfect timing. I'm sure you know what I was talking about there.
We're a well-oiled machine, Finian.
Perfect camera work. Yeah, so Oster, that window's going to, I imagine he's going to want to pit to get off these black tires. They're not really doing anything for him.
So I just wonder, I mean, is being on the reds for 20 laps going to be a disadvantage at the very end, or do you just have to take that disadvantage?
I don't think so, because it looked like they were still putting in really good times towards the end of that run. typically expect that fall off, but I mean, again, it's been, especially in the earlier half of the race, it was a little cooler, and I'm sure the guys are definitely managing their stuff out a little bit better. So I think they just didn't really have that much wear by the end of the run. They were able to keep the tire going the full fuel stint. So the blacks at that point are kind of worthless, because you would kind of hope the black tires can go the full fuel stint without too much wear, but they are slower, and Oster definitely feeling that. I mean, he has some pace, but it's 10 seconds behind the leaders.
And it is going to close up here for the lead. This just continues to get closer and closer. All four drivers in one camera shot. Your top four. There's Van de Sant.
Yeah, they're all separated by 2 seconds now.
Yeah, he's been out front since the last pit stop.
Whoa!
Or I should say the end of the run for Andreas Ike when he came out of the pits and spun out from the lead. But that was a big slide. So he's trying to stay out in front, but I think Malechka is just a little quicker.
I mean, I would be panicking if I was him, because you have 3 guys, pretty quick, all 3 really quick guys, all closing in on you. You don't really have many options available as far as defense. So we're going to see what he's going to come up with to try to keep the 91, the 79, and the 76 all at bay.
Well, the options of the defense are on a controller mounted to the dashboard. You can steer left or right, and they give you 2 pedals to help with that as well. So the defense you're going to do is driver-related, and you're going to have to use all the tools that you've got. Remember, open setup series as well. Are you playing with any of the in-car settings, any weight jack or any brake bias to adjust the car throughout the run, or are you just focused on driving at this point? Up to the driver. I'm sure some are potentially thinking about making some changes to bias as the track conditions change. Have a look at the temperature down to 95, so it's fluctuated up and down. See a lock up there out of Van de Sant.
You're definitely going to want to play with the bias throughout the run as the tires start to rev. As mentioned, as the weather starts to change. It's been going all over the place during this race, going high, going low. As Malechka closes in slowly but surely to the leader, 97 of Van de Sant.
Under 20 to go, this time through 19 laps left for the 5th round of the 2022 Indy Elite Series from Mid-Ohio.
Yeah, that window is definitely open. You can make it to the end. Sorry, you can make it to the end from here.
Oster stays out again. I think his opportunity is to come as soon as possible, but he's running lap times as quick as the leader, even on the black tire. Yeah. But he could run faster than the race leader. His best lap is about a second faster than Van de Sant's last lap, so if he could get on the reds and go as quick as that, he'd be in good shape.
Well, either way, he is going to have to come in the next lap or so. I think he's coming pretty early that first time on the red tires, and has gone fairly long on the blacks here. So I'm curious to see if we're going to maybe see him switch to the red tires for the remainder of the race, because we saw everyone coming around lap 20, 21. I think that's the upper limit of the fuel.
Yep, well, Craig Forsyth just came in, and he was one of the early takers earlier on. Oster's been out for the last 19 laps.
Yeah, I think he's going to use, saw those guys all go on the reds nearly 20 laps. I think he's realized that, yeah, he can run on those red tires to the end. He's going to have to with any chance of making up time. Does
anybody pit from this front group? No takers here. Again, the blacks are just such a big disadvantage for you. You're going to run all the way to the end as far as you can take the fuel.
Yeah, they're pretty much halfway through their stint, at least Malechka, Carey, and Ike. Van de Sant we saw come in about 3 or so laps before Malechka and company did, so he's going to definitely be the first to take this.
Into the keyhole, down the hill, big lateral slide for Brian Carey. 2, 3, 4, all right on top of each other at this point. Chris Cahill is in the number 57. He's on the blacks. He'll go back to the reds.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of you guys will be loving to get onto the red tires. I imagine definitely a more preferred tire to what they have.
Malechka's losing ground just a little bit to Van de Sant, and Brian Carey is closing that distance.
Yeah, and some lap traffic up ahead of the leaders. Alexander Ball and Craig Forsyth, who we just mentioned, came out of pit lane.
Well, that will mix things up just a little bit. You're watching the best battle on the racetrack. It's all inside the top 5 at the moment. And this is what we love about Mid-Ohio. It seems like every race we always do here, the front is very tight at the end, and we're starting to get into the last stages of the race. Under 20 minutes remaining. Car off. That was the lap down car just up the road, but kicking the cones up in the air, and Alex Ball is chasing. That's Craig Forsyth. These drivers are on the lead lap fighting for position, but the leader is there, Van de Sant.
Yeah, Van de Sant's going to be screaming at blue flags for them. Looks like Ball is going to let him on by.
Surprised by that as Oster hits pit lane. I'm surprised that Ball just turned over and let him go. He was battling. Well, I guess he wasn't. He was.
No, he was fighting Forsythe for position. I guess he saw 4 leaders in mind. He's like, yeah, I'm going to stay out of your guys' little scrap. So Forsythe's going to continue on. I imagine we'll try to put up a little bit more of a fight for position.
And a new set of shoes for Oster. Just came to pit lane and put the reds on. He is good to go to the end on fuel. We'll see how far it can take him. Even if he finished here, a top 10 would still not be a bad day. He'll gain a few more spots at least.
Yeah, I think he should definitely come up ahead of Andrew Wood. I'd be surprised if he finished outside of the top 5 unless a mistake happens out of there. I'm sure he's happy he's actually got some grip to work with. Because those black tires, let me tell you, when they're not up to speed, they are definitely not up to speed.
Jason Brophy running down David Adams. This is for 6th. Adams finally having a good race after the beginning of the season has been absolutely disastrous.
Don't say that. We're going to see him in the tire bundle in a few laps.
It's just been a tough year for David, but his teammate
it really has.
Out early.
Has good run for him. It looks like he's pulling over, letting Brophy on by here on the straightaway.
Yeah, no need to fight.
Yeah, not on the same strategy, so likely not to fight him.
Also, just to get a race done and over with and in the top 10. He'll take anything at this point. Think back to Iowa, how frustrating that was to get in the wall on lap 2, but then have to nurse a damaged car for the entire rest of the night.
Yeah, so big props to him for dealing with that car in the entirety of the race.
Van de Sant leads. He's led 12 laps, all after Andreas Eich, who currently runs 4th, spun leaving pit lane. Andreas led 20 laps and needs a little bit of luck and a little more pace to get by the 3 that passed him after he spun out.
Yeah, he's going to need to come up with something because we've got 3 guys up ahead of them. He's got some push to pass to use, but they also have push to pass, so nothing really he can do to kind of sitting behind at the moment. Again, maybe looking at, I wouldn't even say you want to do an overcut because remember they all have to go on the black tire. That tire's going to be slower. I think really the move is to come in as late as possible, and for Van de Sant, that's not much of an option for him because he's got to come in before these guys. He can let them be out there for about 3 or 4 more laps.
Yeah, having a look at Van de Sant's stint. Last pit was 18 laps ago. That means he's got less than 4 laps remaining in this run. Wayne Hunter is on pit lane. He's just come in for his final stop of the day. And looks like Joe Branch will also choose to come down.
Jacob Oster, meanwhile, is flying 108.3 last time by. He's running a 2nd lap faster, so his fastest lap of the race because he's got some clear track up ahead. And as you mentioned, a new pair of shoes, definitely putting work on him.
So remember what we said, he was 9 seconds back prior to the pit sequence as he's getting around some traffic here. That's Charles Ante. But if Oster can run for 5 or 6 laps at a 2nd a lap faster than the leaders, then he's going to gain a huge portion of that deficit back and be in good position to strike. And he'll have the reds on for the end when everyone else up front is going to have the blacks on, I think.
Yeah, he's got a lot of looking track ahead of him, which he did not really have the first. In the first inning, he got kind of mired up in traffic and dealing with a slower tire, so he's going to be
leader off in the dirt on the back straightaway. He juked to the right and had to slow for Joe Branch. Molechka, does he have damage on the front wing? He's got a part of his wing missing.
Oh.
So how did that happen?
Not sure. I didn't see him really get into contact. I think. Did he hit the? Wow.
Van de Sant's off. Van de Sant is off the course.
What is going on? So here's what happened here. You're gonna want to rewind a little bit more, and we'll find out what happened to Molechka. So Van de Sant, when he went off into the cones, that's what happened right there. He came up and over the crest, and then Van de Sant lost position. But earlier on, we saw. Right, what happened here is coming out of the keyhole for Van de Sant when he went off to the side.
Oh, wrong button there. We come back live, but Molechka is going to hit pit lane.
Yeah, so what happened was that when Van de Sant hit the cones, he didn't get any damage, or at least visually he didn't get any damage, but the cones that he sprayed, Molechka hit one of them.
Oh.
And damaged his wings.
Well, they're all on pit lane now.
Oh, and Molechka's going to have to spend another 5 seconds to fix his wing, so he's going to definitely drop to the back of these guys. And that's not optional. They're going to make you replace your wing, although I imagine he would definitely want that.
So Andreas Eich
out and away, and he's in behind Andrew Wood. Ooh, almost some contact with him off the pit.
And there's Oster.
Van de Sant actually still in the pits. He's mentioned Oster out and away, fresh. His tires warmed up to temp.
Van de Sant's out.
Ahead.
Van de Sant is out of the car. So the leader for the last 15 or so laps is out of the race, and we don't know why, but he just peeled off into the pits, came to pit lane, and is now out of the car. Meanwhile, the leader from the first half of the race, Andreas Eich, is in position to take the lead back with all the dramas the leaders had prior to that pit stop sequence.
Yeah, that's a very surprising set of sequence. Not sure what exactly is going on. Maybe Van Sant did damage his car on the underside and we just didn't see it or something. I'm trying to think of what happened.
He's back. He's back on track now.
Yeah, so I think he had some underlying damage that just wasn't visually shown in the sim. Maybe underneath the car or something. But yeah, I guess I had to sit and fix his car. So he's effectively out for the race win as far as I'm concerned. And Malechka, I'm sure that Andreas Eich is going to give Van Sant a handshake after that, because he just helped put Malechka in behind him.
Yeah, Andreas Eich is in position to take the lead back. The only car now that he has to dispatch is Brian Carey, who's just up the road. This is now effectively the battle for the lead. Both of these drivers have to pit, and Jacob Oster is frothing at the mouth right now.
I was going to say, I think he actually might pass these guys.
Well, what's the pit delta?
Because the pit delta is 26 seconds.
And he's 25 back right now.
Yeah. So I think he's in a really good spot to take this lead back. And remember, these guys have to go on the slower tire after this. Oster's set to go on the reds as long as he can manage them. He's off to go to the end. I'm genuinely surprised. I thought he still would have been chasing them at this point. I didn't think he would be up close enough to pass him to the lead, but this worked out very well in Oster's favor.
It definitely did, and he has not even led a lap yet this race, so this would put him in position to take the lead of the race with under 10 laps to go, as we had 11 to go now with Carey and Eich leading. This has been a dramatic late race turn of events. Van Sant now down a lap from the race leaders after crashing, getting off wide in turn 1. I think, I wonder if the damage that he got from, if he got a cone wrapped up in the suspension and bent something, and that's why he went off in turns 4 and 5.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too, Chris. That also seemed like a little bit uncharacteristic. So I think that's probably what happened, and then ended up having a meatball of required repairs to sit and fix. So now he's finally off on a way of it, ruining what could have been a race-winning run.
Here's battling for 13th, Craig Forsyth, and the 71 of Julian Altena. This is for position.
Great scrap here in the middle of sector 2.
Oh, Altena using every inch of the curbing, entering Thunder Valley, and that's a dangerous place to drop a tire. You've got so much load up on the left side, it's going to be really easy to step over that bound.
Tries to have a look on the outside, entering the loop at the end.
All that the carousel here at Mid-Ohio.
I keep forgetting that it's also called carousel.
Oh, the loop works for me. It's not wrong. Andreas Eich on pit lane, race leader, second place rather.
One of the leaders, as he comes on down, curious where on earth Oster is going to come on. Oh, I think it's going to be close between them.
Andreas Eich is already clear. Did he? I wonder if he just didn't fuel the car all the way, don't need to. And he is going to clear Oster, but Oster is going to be here, but he's on the reds.
I was going to say, it is still very close, and as you mentioned, on the faster tire. My only concern with Oster this race, because he's really pushing really quick lap times, is if he's burning those red tires up a little bit too much. Remember, he hasn't gone an entire fuel run with the reds compared to the leaders, so he hasn't really had a chance to manage them as much. He only went around, I think, 13, 14 laps the first stint on the red tires.
Joe Branch, Christopher, this is a battle for 10th. Van Sant's just behind this, trying to get back what he can after that mishap a couple of laps ago. And Brian Carey, race leader, into the pit lane for the final time with 10 laps to go. And this is going to be interesting between him and Andreas, let alone Jacob Oster, because whoever wins this battle will likely be in position to win the race. Eich through the carousel. Carey is in the box, being released now. Eich is on the front straight. This is going to be mighty close. Carey out of the pit lane in the blend line. Here comes Andreas Eich with a head of steam. He's going to be behind Brian Carey in that 79 on the black tire.
Yeah, and one thing he does have is lap advantage of the tires just being warmed up. So I'm curious to see how much is going to play out. Carey's going to have to struggle to try to get the tires up to 10 by also fending off Eich.
So the top three have cycled now.
Oh, and Oster and Carey on the push to pass. Andreas Eich not. Andreas Eich actually saving up his use because I think he knows he's going to need it when Oster catches up to him.
So the only car in the top 5 on the red tire is Jacob Oster. That seems like a very good strategy play from the 09. But is it going to be enough to outdrive the 2 leaders on the black tire in these final 8 laps. They don't have to run that tire very long, so whoa, big slide for Carey, and he collects Ike, and they crash. There goes Oster through as the 2 leaders collide.
Oh no, and that is not what either of them needed.
Disaster at the front of the field. The 2 leaders coming together. Carey was sideways, couldn't quite collect it. Ike had nowhere to go, and they crashed. Wow. This race full of drama again. Just gets on that curb, loses the grip, and Ike just can't slow it down. They collide, and Oster comes on through, and he won't have to out-utilize his tires. He has the lead, and it's not a small one. 3 seconds over Andrew Wood now.
Yeah, the Wood on the slower tire. Oster at this point, as you see him get a little bit of wobble, all Oster has to do really is just manage his tires, and I think he's got this secured.
Here is Stouffer, Alexander Van de Sant, and Joe Branch. Van de Sant just trying to salvage anything he can after leading the entire middle portion of this race. He'd love a top 10. That'd ease the bruising just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen fire, I've seen rain, but 4 of the top 5 that we initially thought had a shot all were involved in their own little incidents across the track. And Jacob Oster, the man who was at that 1.10-second line leaders, up in the lead.
Oster landed right into this, and props to the team for nailing this strategy. Team I5G putting him in the best spot possible. Across the line now with 7 laps to go.
He's got Christopher DeMarin up on the box for him, giving him some calls.
Into the keyhole for the 7th to last time. And up on the back straightaway now, 2.6 seconds is the lead. It was coming down. Andrew Wood is a little quicker. I just don't think he's going to have enough time to get there.
No, yeah, I imagine this is Oster probably taking the time just to manage his stuff. Again, he's got the advantage. It's just a matter of just nursing that car back on one piece. No reason to fight anymore.
Van de Sant right to the rear bumper of Stouffer. Bumper, I guess wing. Not much to bump on these cars.
Yeah, I saw him getting very squirrely on the brakes, almost sliding into Stouffer. 11th, 10th, and 9th up ahead. Or sorry, 9th and 10th up ahead.
Into the keyhole, right there. Oh, he has to bail out. Here comes Van de Sant up the inside. He's going to put Stouffer in the marbles. Now a drag race.
Drag race and also battle of push to pass, of which both these guys are using it. However, not Joe Branch up ahead, so they're closing in very quickly.
Oh, here comes Van de Sant. Sails down the inside. Can Stouffer get it stopped? He's going to tag Branch. Oh, big slide, and Branch is going to stop from all that sliding. He got the short end of the stick there for sure.
Yeah, I'm amazed by that. That was not how I thought that was going to turn out at all. Wow.
Wow, did a great job keeping it straight, all things considered.
Van de Sant, great job, 2-for-1 deal down to turn number 4.
Coming to 5 laps to go. We've had plenty of action in this race, certainly no shortage. That's why I love the road races here in this series. They're so competitive, so much strategy. Not only do you have push to pass, which you don't get on the oval tracks, you also get the tire selection, which you don't get on the oval tracks. You just get so much more dynamicism in terms of the strategies that you can use to win the race, and so much more chaos without collisions necessarily. But Jacob Oster for Team I5G has put himself in a great spot. And so far this season has not been a bad season. He's had 2 good finishes and 2 bad finishes. His good finishes came at Iowa and Road America, 3rd and 7th. But at Michigan and Motegi, it was 28th and 21st for the Team I5G 09.
Yeah, I think there's definitely going to be a happy man currently sitting 12th in the point standing. Will definitely take a bump and a huge bonus for winning the race over finishing 2nd. So definitely going to be enjoying that. Definitely should bump him up a few places. In general, I think he's just happy to get a win. There we see Andreas Ike struggling, nursing his car back with half a front wing.
Yeah, you can see the locking up here. This car is not handling very well. Still running top 5, and again, the big picture is the points. He's going to lose some ground to Malechka, who runs 3rd right now on the podium. But it shouldn't be a disastrous night, provided he can finish this race where he is.
Yeah, I mean, I think honestly, the rest of the race matter of just keeping himself calm. Because if I was him, I'll be punching a hole through the plaster because that's got to be so frustrating. We talked about him being so close so many times to winning a race, if not just doing really, really well. And something or the other goes wrong for him, and there was nothing he could have done with the incident with Kerry.
Yeah, I mean, just think, had he had a little bit more time to react to that, he would have sweeped on by. He might have gone on to win the race.
Yeah,
that could have ended the drought.
Ironically, he was further behind Kerry, and not as close. If he lost time in the pit stops, as you mentioned, he would have had enough time to react and slow the car down and make his way on through. It's just really unfortunate for him.
My attention was brought to the fact that the purple car curse will continue here at Mid-Ohio. Think back to Joshua Chin a couple of seasons ago, losing that drag race to the end. Here's Brophy up the inside of Ike. That's for 5th place, and Ike's top 5 is gone.
Yeah, I'm not surprised with that. Next, he's got to worry about is David Adams, who's 2.5 seconds behind. May lose that spot, but after that, I think should settle in 7th place.
Ike is coming back. Trying to, at least.
Yeah, he's coming back, but I know he knows that he can't hold side by side with a wing like that.
For Jacob Oster, coming to 3 laps to go, rather. Lap traffic to contend with. But started this race back in 3rd and quietly kind of rode just outside the podium spots for the first quarter or so of the race. Then kind of fell into obscurity and then snuck out of nowhere with the tire strategy to win the race, it seems, if he can just hang on to this, as David Adams is now handing Andreas Ike. That 76 is definitely bleeding. And there are sharks in the water behind that number 76 car.
Yeah, imagine probably going to let Adams go by without too much of a fight here. Nothing really, as you mentioned, nothing really much left to fight with on that car. Adams goes for the dive. And will easily take it down. Oh, a little bit too much of a dive there for a second.
Probably didn't need to go that deep, battling a car that can't stop. But Ike is going to actually take a pretty decent run here, but a lot of drag from the mismatch of the Aero here. He's just not going to be able to catch back up, and probably out of push to pass as well.
Yeah, in fact, actually David Adams just used his last one, and Ike has 3 more to use.
Not sure how much it'll be helpful.
No, not really much at this point.
This time through, 2 laps to go for race leader Jacob Oster. For Team I5G, Andrew Wood and Robert Malechka, the rest of the podium as it stands. There's Andrew Wood in the background. He has been closing in on Oster the last couple of laps, but just needed more time or more pace to catch Oster. But we've seen things be so chaotic, you can't count him out just yet.
No, I think so. I'm curious really how much is Oster trying, or if the tires are really starting to wear off. He did push them pretty hard. But I'm not sure if this is just him pushing it or him just kind of nursing him back, knowing he's got has a gap to work with. But yeah, as mentioned, Wood is catching. I'm sure if Wood was on the red tire, Oster would have been pedaling a lot more.
Really enjoy this. The name is kind of scripted on the side of the cockpit area there. Kind of harkens back to the days of old race cars. Kind of a neat little touch there. Something I haven't noticed before on Wood's car. Whoa, big slide by the 2nd place car. Good thing he's got 6 seconds back to Malechka. He can gather it back up. I don't think there's any reason to push beyond this. I don't think you're going to catch Oster without a little bit of luck. As for the race leader, 1 more lap around, 2.2 miles, 13 corners left for Oster and his Team I5G 09. Has not won a race yet this season. It is in position to do just that.
Yeah, I was going to say, if he takes the win here in 1 lap time, he'll be the 4th different winner this season, which is kind of surprising. I think we thought that we were going to see Malechka dominate a lot more, and he's done very, very well, especially the points leader. Still, again, if he finishes in 3rd, hasn't finished lower than 6th this entire season so far. But yeah, he'll be the 4th different winner in 5 races.
Yeah, Malechka's dominance was at the ovals early. Didn't happen last week at Motegi, though. That was Pablo Diaz in the 22. His race ended early. So did Adriano Pinheiro, a Road America winner. Think about that 56. He qualified well. He could have certainly been in the mix had that crash not happened on lap number 2. Jacob Oster crests the hill and heads to Thunder Valley for the final time. As Finian mentioned, the 4th different winner in 5 races so far. More road racing on the horizon after Kentucky and Milwaukee, but out of Bay, Arkansas for Team I-5G, Mid-Ohio in the 5th round of the Indy Elite Series season in 2022 goes to Jacob Oster. He wins at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Andrew Wood, 2nd place. Robert Maleshka will continue to extend his points lead in 3rd place. A nice, solid run for that number 91. Brian Carey and Brophy, the rest of the top 5, Finian.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to be kicking just to what happened with him because Maleshka, also another victim, just got hit the spray of cones. Nothing really can do to avoid a bunch of cones flying around the track at speed. So he's going to finish in 3rd, wondering what could have been. Same thing with Brian Carey. Same thing with Andreas Hike. Same thing with Van de Sant. All 4 of them battling Jacob Oster. Well, I guess they probably didn't realize it for a time because they're all too busy fighting themselves. They didn't realize Oster's in the background plotting with a different tire strategy, and it was the one to get him the win.
Yeah, Jacob Oster gets it done for Team I-5G, victorious here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Man, what a battle. And a little bit of luck that helped out the 09. Maleshka goes sailing off into the dirt, celebrating a 3rd place run that will finish him off pretty well in the points, considering Ike's 7th place tonight. Oster finishing up the cool-down lap, but this is an exciting win for the 09. Again, it's been an up-and-down season so far. It's just been pretty much black or white. 2 top 10s or 2 DNFs. That's been the choice so far.
You ain't first or last.
Said like a true racer. Across the line, Oster finishes the cool-down lap again. We'll talk to him in a few minutes, but first up, let's have a look at our race results. He thinks the race is 50 laps. He just ran a whole other lap and continues. Oster wins the race. Wood, Maleshka, Carey, and Brophy are top 5. Finney and Adams in the 0-0. How about a 6th place? He's got to be thrilled with that after the season he's had.
I was going to say he's definitely going to be a very happy man. Not as, although Andreas Hike behind him, a very unhappy man in the number 76 machine. Marshall Stanley, we saw, had some pretty good scraps with Joe Branch early on. Going to finish in 8th. Van de Sant, pretty solid recovery. Considering he had to be in the pits for repairs, going to recover back to 9th. Chris Topher rounding out your top 10.
Well, it has been a solid race for those top 10 runners. Let's have a look at 11th through 20th. Joe Branch, pretty decent run for him. Julian Alton, a top 15. Alexis Newsom, not as good of a run as last week, but still top 15. And then you look down the order of cars that didn't have the days they were looking for. Musselman, Tony Schowen. Wayne Hunter got to finish in. That's something he's probably excited about at this point. And down here at the bottom, this is where the trouble starts.
Yeah, and then Adriano Pinheiro. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be cursing their luck in the fantasy as the man who definitely had some solid pace. Qualified, I believe, 7th, ending it early out in the wall on lap number 2.
Another look at the top 10 finishers. We're waiting on a couple other drivers to join us here, but we're going to talk to Andrew Wood up first. And it's yet another week in a row that we're going to talk to Andrew Wood. 2nd place tonight, about 2.6 seconds back from eventual winner Jacob Oster, but it was a chaotic race out there for sure, Andrew. 2nd place, how about that? Not bad.
Totally unexpected. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I was probably 5th or 6th best today, so, you know, I put in a lot of time to practice and stuff, so where I kind of sat, I was just running very comfortable laps and just trying to make sure I was hitting my marks every lap, and I was going to be very happy with a 5th or 6th today, and then I have actually no idea what happened. All of a sudden, the race just turned on its head on the last pit stop. So when I saw that I was behind Jacob initially, I had messed up a couple times in front of him, but then I know that Andreas got into something with Brian on his out lap, and when I saw that happen, I was like, wow, this is such a race that just turned on its head on me.
Yeah, it was dramatic for sure. The leaders found themselves in trouble more than once, and it seems like leading the race was a curse for everyone except for Jacob. But Andrew, it's been a really solid run lately, and as the points go, you've been moving up consistently week after week, and looking at where you are now, you're coming into the night, you were 8th. You were +5 after last week. This is going to put you in a great spot. 27th, 13th, 4th, 2nd, and 2nd. What's next? A win?
I can only hope so, but everyone in this league knows that Andreas is going to win Kentucky because he's won the last 2, which is the next race. So I can only hope to be 2nd place to him. Yeah, we put in a lot of time this week amongst the team. We really wanted to make sure that we were pretty solid here. If we can go like 1-2-3 or 1-2-3-4 when Tanner Watkins comes back next week, we'll be looking good, and we're looking forward to the rest of the season.
Solid run. 2nd place for the number 64 this week. Andrew, congratulations. We'll see you next time.
Yep, and thanks you guys for broadcasting as usual, and thanks for everyone for turning up.
We'll see you next week at Kentucky. Thanks for talking.
See you then. Yep.
Robert Malechka finished in third tonight and continues to advance in the points. Robert, a 90, I was going to say a 91st, a third place run for the 91 car tonight. A solid run. I mean, pretty chaotic there at the nose of the field, but coming home with a third and Andreas finishing seventh. You should extend your points lead again. Is this all you could get out of the car tonight, or was there more left in the tank?
Honestly, I feel like, we should have a power slide 1, 2, 3. It's kind of unfortunate what happened to Alex, just kind of miscommunication. But, yeah, got the front wing damage and ultimately just lost time on track, 5 seconds roughly. And I'm not sure if I could have held off Jacob. He was on the fresh reds. I was kind of just chilling out on the blacks. It would have been a pretty exciting finish. But, yeah, I kind of got lucky with, I guess, chaos a few times there. But overall, I'll take a P3. I said before, anything in the top 5, I'm very happy with. So.
Well, looking ahead, we've got Kentucky up in a couple weeks, then Milwaukee, so 2 more ovals. You kicked off the season with a couple wins at ovals, one at a big track, one at a smaller track. That's what's coming up. You think you can go and get wins 3 and 4?
Yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan every time we're on an oval. I think Milwaukee, I probably won't be the favorite. I'm not great there in this iRacing. But I think you said Kentucky's the next one, and it should be a good one. 1.5, 2 milers are my strong suit by a wide margin. So yeah, if we can at least get a podium finish, and kind of maybe if Andreas wins, finish second or third, just kind of minimize the point loss.
All right, Robert Malechka, third place in the number 91 for Power Slide. Rob, congratulations. We'll see you next week at Kentucky. Thanks for talking.
Yep, thank you guys.
Move on now to race winner Jacob Oster, his first win of the season for Team I-5G. He gets it done in dramatic fashion. The 2 out front take each other out. A little bit of drama's there, Jacob, but congratulations. You get it done at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Started third, kind of fell a little bit into the pack there with some strategy, but your strategy was the one that ultimately won the race. So take us through your strategy calls and then passing those 2 collided heading into Thunder Valley.
Well, I had bet on a little bit of a hotter track, so I realized that I really wanted to get rid of those reds really, really fast and again get to the blacks, and that's exactly what I did. And I didn't think it was going to work in the middle of that second stint because, as Chris was telling me, I was just kind of losing time, but I started to gain it back up, and then got back on the reds at the end because the track temp just kept fluctuating like mad. It literally changed 12 degrees in the last 10 laps. So I was like going to switch back to reds, and I switch back to reds. I see Andreas come out, then I see Brian come out, and then I see them just go off at the top of the hill. I'm like, oh, thank you. And just played it calm from there. Just keep my tires underneath it, keep my head going straight, run quick off good laps, and end up in victory lane.
Well, it has certainly been quite the season for you. It's really been hit or miss so far, I got to say. 2 finishes inside the top 10 and 2 finishes outside the top 20. So kind of hit or miss, black and white this season, but looking like you're going the right direction now. We head to Kentucky and Milwaukee. Is that the place where you right the ship, or are you looking more forward to Laguna Seca in March?
Well, I do look more forward to the ovals, though they haven't really been, except for Iowa, very good. Got some bad luck at Michigan. I just bought it at Motegi. But I feel like I can do really well at Milwaukee and at what's the other? Oh yeah, Kentucky next week. We are really, really good on the ovals, and if we spend some time working on a setup, I feel like I can nab a pole, nab a top 5 starting spot, and then just keep up there, keep it smart, and pop up another win, maybe pass Robert in the total win column for the year.
Well, so far, so good. Put one in the column already. Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Round 5 goes to Jacob. And then the number 09, Jacob, congratulations, and we'll see you at Kentucky in a couple weeks.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Vinny, moving on in post-race here, finishing things up from Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Love road racing, and this is why. A lot of dramas, a lot of shuffling at the front of the field. A couple cars that should have been dominant but weren't because of strategy, because of collisions, because of chaos. But at the end of the day, it's I-5G at the top of the board.
Yeah, I was going to say, it seems like all hell broke loose after that last set of pit stops, and yet, as mentioned, just a lot of drama at the front of the field. So we never got to really truly see Oster, working his way through and passing, because all the other competitors kind of ran into their own trouble here and there up near the front. It was fantastic just because we really didn't know who was going to win this race up until pretty much the very end when the dust had settled. Just some fantastic racing all around overall. can't wait for the next one.
Well, the next race is going to be on February 15th. That'll happen at Kentucky Speedway. Andreas Sykes, a two-time winner there, perhaps the favorite heading into our next 1.5-mile oval. Milwaukee Mile on February 22nd, then WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca on March 6th, followed by Texas Gateway Long Beach and our full-distance Indy 500 on April 24th. That's what's left this season, our halfway point up on February 15th. Kyle Heyer, Finney DeCuna bringing you the Indy Elite Series. We'll see you next time from Kentucky.